When I tell you, walking through the streets in New York City, Blue, and in the Bronx, every block is just they blasting Jay-Z music. Everybody chilling. I had some Remy Ma 1738. The cops is like, yo, enjoy your Heady. They're like, yo, enjoy your Hennessy. I said, this Remy. They said, oh,
yo, they was relaxing the room.
So it was a very festive.
Everybody was chilling. There was no, you could feel the energy sometimes, the griminess in New York. There was none of that. No grimy vibes at all outside. You could walk through any block that night, and it just felt like it was love in the city that night. So I definitely loved experiencing that in the city. I mean, just outside was just as live as inside. You know what I'm saying? It's inside. You could have just been outside, Blue.
What you're speaking about is that you entered a resonance field, right? Resonance Rich is identifying the fact that you are now speaking directly to what you know and understand resonance to mean, right? Because you just said it was inside and outside. So that's a permeating resonance that was created by what's called effervescence. And effervescence is when you experience a combined mutual, almost energetically orgasmic experience, like people in the Garden watching the Knicks win Game 4.
Right.
But people outside having the same impact, and then people across the world, because they were now brought into the resonance field that was captured on live TV, right? Or remember what I told you about Mexico? I was like, did you see that footage of Mexico?
Right.
When they hit that goal and 2 million people was in the street, and the engagement looked like an entity itself. You're experiencing that because just like a Knicks victory has the ability to unlock, suppress depression in the New Yorker, false expectations in the New Yorker, but always the reminder that New Yorkers don't quit. So even if you have to hold on to the very last whatever, right? The payoff is holding, being 10 toes down, right? Being weighed down in Timberlands, rubber soles to the concrete, right? And never ceding. So the 30-year reminder of how this all started with Reasonable Doubt, right? That people are failing to understand by speaking about the commercial success of the album. The commercial success is the physical manifestation of Jay-Z, because the album becomes prophecy. And then it unlocked and reminded so many people of that time period. So the presence of that moment brought old New York back into the real New York streets, and it collapsed the wave on the resonance. Everyone that came got to experience what can't be packaged as cosplay. It was the real New York return, right? And the spirit bubble had already been popped with the Knicks victory.
I want to get things started. That's a brilliant observation, Bloom. Brilliant, especially about. I like how you tied the Knicks in with that. I want to start this conversation, red and blue, with these comments are going to tie in exactly with what I want to talk about. I see somebody in the chat said everyone's praising Hove now ? Another comment said he ain't cool no more. I want to talk to y'all about the internet, the algorithm. I've never, and I said this on, first of all, I was never on the Hove hate train. That's not me. That's not what I represent. That's not what my energy represents. I'm not saying I support everything he does, but I'm not on this hate train conspiracy theory where him and Beyonce want to sacrifice Blue Ivy. I think that's utterly ridiculous. What I want to talk about is, I said this in a previous show. What the hell happened to make the internet hate Hove so much? Let me just play a clip for you. I mean, the comments, this is why everybody's making these videos saying, oh shit, the internet's a lie. There's a reason why everybody's saying the internet's a lie. Because if you're on social media, you think this motherfucker's Aleister Crowley himself reincarnated. You think he's more the devil than Trump. These niggas like Trump more than they like, oh, I mean, you would think he's the most evil man in the world. So it's like, when did this happen? What? Because I remember Hove being the greatest artist of all time in hip hop, or one of the greatest. When did he turn into the devil? When did Beyonce turn into this? Beyonce got a worse reputation than Kim Kardashian. How? I don't know. But let me start out with this, and then I would love for y'all to get into that. Where's this at? Okay, here we go.
I question if Jay-Z is the topic of conversation. He's 60 years old, my.
This is the young people's spokesman, it seems. So I want to play him. You know, maybe a lot of the younger people could relate to him. You know,
y'all do, my nigga? Y'all will never make a 60-year-old rapper the hottest rapper in the genre, bro. That time has came and passed, gang. That's what I was saying. What we want to talk about is this new future, this new YB. Listen, we get what Jay-Z's doing, but I question if Jay-Z's the topic of conversation. He's 60 years old, my nigga. He'll never, 2004 will never come back. I know that was like your heyday. Charlamagne had hair. He was running around, fucking white bitch. It's just over, gang. It's over. This is our shit now. This shit over. So when we clowning him, y'all talking about secret? What are we talking about now? We talking about his hair? Are we talking about his face? We're clowning him. A 60-year-old rapper will never be the most relevant nigga in this culture.
That shit. I mean, that hate needs to be studied right there.
It does.
Saying that before y'all start, I've never seen so many conspiracy theories about. I mean, from his hair being a wig, he had a fro. They said it was a lace front. I mean, when you talk about conspiracy theories, there's thousands about him and his wife. Family, Blue Red. Why so much hate on this man, Ak? And the rest of the internet? What's going on? How did this happen and what's going on, y'all?
I want to say this, that in the beginning
Speak up.
of our career in 2009 and 2010, the critique against Sean Carter was the fact that he was a crack rapper.
Right.
And when it came to identifying who was the head of that snake, when it came to the crack rap, and when I say crack rap, ladies and gentlemen, all I'm talking about is a lyrical genre that basically came out of New York City and whatnot, where the rappers were glorifying the drug trade. In the twilight of the crack era. This is 96, so this is not the crack era. The crack era is basically the late 80s into maybe the early 90s, right? So Jay-Z coming along after Biggie and whatnot, and Nas. I was listening to It Was Written, and there needs to be an argument about who was more of a crack rapper, Jay-Z or Nas. You know, that Pablo Escobar, that It Was Written. I mean, crack references all throughout it, but there was a glorification of drug culture that we were kind of like pushing back against, because we were saying that we need lyric reform. We were not calling for nobody to be unalive. We were not trying to say they need to be to get the RICO. We wasn't taking it that far. We were just calling out the fact that we need a lyric reform, because once you identify how much power this man's words have and how much a sway that he had on the thoughts and the minds of the generations of the people that we grew up around, we like, nah, bro, you can't be rapping about crack in 2010, bro. Like, something needs to change. As soon as we drop the Blueprint 322, things begin to change. Things begin to shift. And then we got the Watch the Throne. There was a shift in content. There was a shift in tone. There was a shift in quote unquote messaging, right? There was a shift in the branding and whatnot. And then from that point on, we saw a total transformation. And I would definitely say our crowning achievement came with 444. That was the musical equivalent of him throwing the white towel in the ring and saying, nah, y'all got me, my nigga. I'm going to grow up. And ever since then, as a family man and as a, you know, I don't the business shit. I don't sit at the table with none of these people. I'm not a part of nobody's business deals. They don't call Red up. They don't call Blue up. We're not counsel and whatnot. We don't get no checks for any of that. So to me, to talk about somebody's business moves is not necessarily. I was talking about the criminology. I was talking about the swaying of people when they listening to the lyrics. If they were to follow your lyrics word by word, what will it get you? But then in hindsight, when we look back, now we got drill rap. Now we got dope fiend rap that Future and them started pushing. Now we have something crack rap. To me, is we got whole rap, we got prostitution rap. We have a lot of these things that took the place. Rappers are literally killing one another. That didn't happen back in the days with the takeover and the ether battle. There wasn't no bodies dropping. They was not out there killing people. Sean Carter don't got bodies under his belt. Sean Carter was not out there. You know, there's a lot of things that he didn't do. And then there's a lot of things that happened with the other people that came out. And I'm like, you know, it became it became a part where it was like, yeah, we're gonna still watch what he's doing, but we're gonna shift our focus on some of the more detrimental messaging in our culture that we could literally see. There's funerals taking place, there's bodies dropping, there's Ricos being handed out. He didn't have nothing to really do with that. So that's just my insight as to where we was at when it came to the trajectory of this man's career.
Yeah, I think again the Jay-Z hate is very alive online for three different reasons. One could be ageism, right? He represents the last guard of a generation that's separated from the generation that's insisting that it needs now. He's Carlito in Carlito's way, and Benny Blanco was like, you got to get out of the way because there's new energy in town. You know what I'm saying? There's a new stage. At the same time, he was doing Yankee Stadium. You know, Future was in Albania or one of them places in Europe in front of 100,000 people. So, and they knew every word, and they represent a younger generation. So even with the Crowley thing, the battle was always for the youth. You know what I'm saying? Because of what that energy entails, what the demographic entails in terms of finances, disposable income, but also programming, right? And the demographic represents a global audience. Hip hop is a behemoth as being shown. This is the throne that's worth battling for. All of the quote unquote people that belong to that demographic, they understand that they're either siding with Ye, which is a step down generationally wise, or they're siding with Drake. And these are the people who represent, like academics was attempting to tell Charlemagne in the interview, I'm gang, I gotta bang on you because you don't like my guy. And it's as simple as that. I draw the line on my journalism based on who's my favorite. And my favorite is based on how I'm aligning myself with my generation and my demographics and the people that I speak to and have influence over. So the same way that these children have issues with their fathers and their grandfathers that they don't know because their father ain't do the right thing, that's what Jay-Z represents to them. He represents the spokesman for that epoch and that era. You know, Jay-Z is the personification that crime does pay, right? Let's be very clear of what we're looking at. We're not just looking at a lyricist. Like I said, we're looking at someone who presented a blueprint, right, into how he was going to mind map melanated men in particular coming out of the Empire State who became the best Roman shoulders that Rome has because he got into cocaine capitalism. He wasn't just a crack rapper. He was a cocaine capitalist, and he personified in real time the person who openly, for the first time, expressed the intelligence that goes with cocaine dealing, not the unintelligence that goes with crack dealing, which is what Big represent. That's why white America didn't necessarily shed a tear, because he didn't represent the epitome of intellect and intelligence. That's what Jay-Z represents. And he was smart enough to express it in public and redeem himself from it. So he's already in his Phoenix phase. He arose out of the ashes because the $2 billion or whatever, the businesses that people are arguing over, all of that was gained legitimately in front of the public. This is not ill-gotten gains and crack proceeds. This is a man who went into business and ran up a B. And he already told you, I came into the game using people. Y'all was always customers. And just like you seen this weekend, you know what I'm saying? Like his relationship is between a hustler and a customer, and he's showing you in the most stripped down way possible what the dynamics of that relationship is. That shit is too hard for this younger, softer generation. That, you know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily serve their purpose, because they're the fiend generation. They are the recipients of the things that came about by cocaine capitalism. So
Right.
he don't speak to them, he don't speak to them necessarily,
Mm.
right? He told you that his whole game is, you know, the abuser and the dealer is both fiends to a degree, but he'll never step over and get high on his own supply. So he represents the discipline, a Sagittarius that's like, look, I'm gonna be a sage with this. I transform my entire life in front of y'all. I'm still showing you that crime does pay, because I'm still hitting licks. I'm still using the people like a hustler always does. I'm still keeping it Brooklyn, right? And my philanthropy is my presence.
Right.
And anything that I choose to do here and there to help y'all, but I gave y'all the blueprint, not a album, the blueprint.
Right. The steps.
Not yet.
Protocol.
So people, again, they're gonna be in your comments and they're gonna feel away, and they're gonna make these observations about what we should be saying and how we should be making observations with the world. We were always partial with our observations. We came into the game with a lecture, Blueprint 322, about a person that I've done business with. This we threw the first concert in Brooklyn for him to perform Reasonable Doubt. Like, this is not somebody that we didn't have dealings with. So the partiality goes with still being able to speak the truth on exactly what was going on. And back in 2009, we explained the occult nature of his demonstration. Blueprint was his entered apprentice degree. He clearly showed you he was coming into the Blue Lodge. He had it on the album cover. He was sitting in the lodge. The other people was lined up, and Blueprint 3 was his master mason, his graduation to really lay his hand out. And yes, they have openly performed the illest of occult rituals in terms of the fact that they control the mental mind waves of generations. You know what I'm saying? Him and his whiz, J and B, are the twin pillars, Joaquin and Boaz, and the way that they magnetize the mental of masculine and feminine. Come on, they're going to be thoroughly hated. But it can't be denied that the influence is there. It can't be denied. You're only going to hate the greats. You know what I'm saying? And this is not us making a capitulation. We just real with what we see. And what you've seen this past strong in confirms that.
No, indeed.
Let me get it out the way right away and bring Beyonce out so we can form these pillars and give you what you really came for. And then masterfully, again, as a master mason, he was able to build a reality into the mind mapping, the mental space, to show and prove what the value is, remind you, right, of a time that is crystallized and encapsulated by his catalog, and then create a space where he can still do things in the future with now, you know, maximizing the generational gaps between the game. Because I think it is still, we have to say, is Jay, is Ye, is Future, and is Drake. Because what Future represents in terms of a 40-something-year-old man whose mind is encapsulated and still there with the youth, and represents a total different spectrum of the hustler who's on the substance, who puts the substance in the music. You know what I'm saying? The music itself is a narcotic. It's a graduation of what Jay-Z was attempting to do. They was always attempting to make smack music.
Right. I want to I do want to because I know this is a topic, and I see the glazing shit don't offend me. I give props where props is due. And Hove, like I said, I'm emotionally mature. So he said some bullshit during the weekend about the boycott. I'll talk about that later. But Hove, hands down, family, at the end of the day, has one of the greatest catalogs we ever would see. And I'm always debating about my opinion about who's the greatest. I would say he's the greatest hip hop artist of all time. I would say that, in my opinion, my subjective opinion. I would say Hove, and I call the brother Hove. That's what he called himself. I would say Hove is the greatest hip hop artist of all time. Now think about it. This thing we call hip hop, this thing that came in from America, this thing that touches the world unlike anything we ever seen. I would say this man named Hove is the greatest hip hop artist of all time, and that's my honest opinion. I'm not controlled by the internet, bots, anything. I'm going to be who I'm going to be. I do want to talk to you. I think it's important that we have a good conversation. I want y'all, this brother right here wants to call in. I want you to call in. If you got a question for Red or Blue or a comment, I do want you to call in, because this is a culture that we're trying to figure this thing out. And no trolling, like, because I see Blue laughing. Serious shit. They'll come in with a serious comment or a serious question, but this is for the brother London B. Go ahead, brother. I want to give you an opportunity. Hold up, Brett. I want to give you the opportunity to come on stage and either a comment or question, but no long-winded rants. You know, speak your mind. And I think this would be good. What you said, Red?
No, I wanted to add the context about when it comes to the music. We're talking about 1996, right? It's called it was called Reasonable Doubt, or Jay-Z 30. You would have to have lived in 1996 to understand the memories that may be connected to not just Reasonable Doubt, but it was written. Why Nas being up there means something. You know, you have to, you know, the music is a time capsule. The music has memories. The music is literally a time machine. People who were really outside in 1996 and not inside of a crib as a baby, or not somewhere where they were not a part of this life, their perspective on it is they might have been in another country. There's people who wasn't even in America in 1996. So you would never be able to relate to why somebody may say, you know what, if a concert like that comes around, I'm finna go see that, because there's certain aspects of my childhood that's attached to that catalog. There's certain aspects of my adult years. I'm able to see myself on a 30-year window and whatnot, while seeing him celebrate or be celebrated. I'm able to measure myself up, because honestly, 1996 was maybe my best year as a young adult ever. That was the pinnacle, you know what I'm saying, of my adult experience, my young adult experience. 1996, I have a lot of soundtracks behind experiences. That's the tunnel era, you know. That was the Get Money era, you know what I'm saying? Like, we were really outside putting a lot of work in.
I was on fire.
I was, yeah, I was on. I was.
You know what the ill part, again, because it's gonna hit different for different people, but I was that album served as the soundtrack. Me and my business partner would go out every day, right? Because we never missed a day, and this was our job, this was our work. And this goes into, this is going to double and dive into the whole controversy with the Carissa situation. I'm not sitting here advocating lifestyles that might be from the street, you know what I mean, and things that people choose to do to eat. But I don't think it's no secret that we grew up, I was a booster, you know what I'm saying? And I think this guy was too. But
Miami.
My shit was on a different level. And that era, that epoch and that era, we had graduated our game to another level. And me and my business partner, that we would listen to Farrakhan the first thing we did in the whip before we went out on an assignment. I would make my prayer to Pimp God Gerard that he returns us, you know, in safety. And then we would play Reasonable Doubt. And it was a grown man conversation about being responsible and no longer doing kiddie shit, even if we was in the underworld. Also, not to sell your soul or to lose yourself, because that was the message in his music. The trials and tribulations that dabbling with the underworld, that you are always a step throws away from, you know, making that contract that you can't bounce back from. and the people that was really in it needed the education. So he represented a form of street knowledge by the fact that he was a street disciple, but still had his feet, his toes in the game. You still get singed from hell. Your toes is in the game. You would step what you would throw a stone throws away from the gates. You know what I'm saying? And it's a hell of a balancing act if you really are someone who's not in this thing to sell your soul. So there was just a level of responsibility and conscientiousness that we observed in his music. He spoke with intellect. He spoke about the emotional circuitry that you're going through dabbling in the game. He's speaking about your ability to shine amongst wolves and still have the confidence to not show fear. You know what I'm saying? I stood
Mhm.
next to this brother in Rose Castle, and all of these things, all of these narratives and stories, like AA was there. There were certain people in the streets was there. A lot of people wasn't. So when you don't get to see people in their element, you only know what you know from the internet. You know what I'm saying? And I
I
just
want to.
know that in terms of this dialogue, we owe it more to the experience to explain to people that like when it was happening, it was a necessary evil for lack of a better terms. And when I say evil, because people are uncomfortable with the conversation that this man represents, even though he's been having it for 30 years. But he put a level of intelligence, responsibility, and different aspirational right reaches on the game that was needed and necessary for people to grow up from where, let's say, Big left them, or where Puff was just showing them aspiration. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
Uh,
I want to get to because I would love to have a chat with the family in the
so,
all over the world. Hold up.
and I was saying, I just wanted to end that
Yeah, yeah,
last
good.
piece.
I'm sorry.
I was
Go ahead.
able to
I'm
look
sorry.
at my man, shout out to Junior. He was there, and he was in front row. You know, they had a section with the VIP where they was drinking, Ace and all that, and he's from that world. You know what I'm saying? He's from that world. He's committed to that world. He's still part of that world, and like even though people look down on that world, these are some of the most aspirational, accomplished human beings on the planet that I know, because they have been able to dabble that fine line and they still have their soul intact and they're still great people. And they still was able to achieve everything that they dreamt of. And that's where he was giving people the ability, the backdrop, and the example of saying that you can get out of the life and do something legit. You can still be around for your children. You can put on the button up and grow up. You know what I'm saying? That there's levels to this. You can marry the woman that you want to marry and stop being a player. You know what I mean? But some of them is always going to be a hustler at heart. So there's just certain decisions that they make that might seem like it's rugged individualism and not community. These are not community leaders. These are ex-hustlers, and we getting them totally confused.
Great point, Blue. Excellent point. Excellent point. I want to I just lit up a cigar. Blue, you didn't come July 4th to get one of these, man. And Red, you didn't come either, man. These
Red ain't
are
make it either.
freshest
I feel that.
cigars yet,
I feel
family. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yo, I wanna I'm lighting up because you always light up with intention. I
yes.
just want to send instructions to the ethers. My goal is to stay in resonance with my higher self, which is my true self. I want to materialize my higher self in this realm. So may I stay connected with my true identity, regardless of the distractions or whatever that's around me. Let's I'll put the link for y'all. I see y'all asking for the link. I'll put the link in the chat for y'all in a little
Check the
while.
private. Check the back private.
Okay. 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 Let me. Is this brother London B? Are you there, my brother?
Yeah,
You the first one that asked if you could come on. What's up, brother?
yeah. Peace to you, brother. Rich, red pill, blue pill. I want to say
Wagwan.
before I say what I'm about to say, I want to give you brothers your flowers. I'm in the music industry. I won't disclose my stage name.
Okay.
Um, I'm very major in the music industry,
Okay.
but since college, I've been watching you brothers via the brother Sarnetta. You have taught me a lot.
Shout out
You
to Sal.
guys are legends. We never give the legends the flowers. We always want to take, but we never give. Brother Rich, I literally found out about Bobby Hemmett through your channel. You are an amazing brother. So, I want to give y'all flowers. So I'm gonna get to the point because I know everybody here. I'm from Chicago, Illinois.
Shout out.
Um,
Shout out to Chicago.
my adjacency to this cultural thing is obviously through the drill movement. I'll say this, man. This is more of a question mixed with an observation, mixed with more so of some commentary. A lot of the concepts that I'm recognizing now in my later life, I learned from you, gentlemen. The signs, the little, I may not know the numerology, but just the little quirks, the little things that everybody's seeing, but nobody truly understands. I've been in the music industry for about 15 years. And I was at Jay-Z 30. I was there Friday. I flew in from Chicago. I came with the backers and the crackers, so to speak. And I'll be honest with you. Everything that y'all have taught the family and the youth to have, I guess, a side eye to, I witnessed behind the scenes at this damn concert. So I get the knowledge. I'm following y'all, big bro. Y'all understand this from a personal level because y'all from that community and from a more global, understanding. I guess my question is this. Clearly, the division between the old school and the new school is at such a level you could cut it with a knife. The tension is crazy. It's a lot of issues just from behind the scenes. Everybody beefing. I'm talking about on a high level. I'm asking you guys this. I heard your soliloquy about Jay and the energy, and I get all that. But I'll be honest with you, and I'm not pro or for anybody. I'm just witnessing it. Why do you think that they want to kick off the civil war in the hip hop right now? I'm talking about to such a degree. It's Texas, certain Texas I'm getting. Don't go with dude. Don't be around this guy. That like why do you think that the tension is so greasy right now? Just I'm gonna call names between this Drake camp and all the niggas riding over there, whether you affiliated or not, and the Jay-Z thing, because it's really sick, bro. And that's why when I saw this, I ran to this live because I wanted to get some of the wisdom. Because I have never seen, and I've been through some bloody times in this drill movement around crazy shit. We done had some good days, we done had some bad days. But with the politics with this Jay-Z thing and all the shots, what is y'all read on the energy wise and just for the average person that may not know the high science that might just be functioning in this environment? That's kind of my question. So.
I would address the YB and Future thing first, because if you want to talk about activity and tensions and whatnot, if you want to talk about action, I would say that that's more prevalent. You know what I mean? The YB versus the Future camp, because both of those camps, and I'm not even gonna get on the internet and say it, but those are more active camps than the Drake and Jay-Z camp, right? Both camps are fully active, fully in the streets. They cover all different states and whatnot, and age groups and demographics, and they on the internet talking super spicy right now. The situation with Hove and Drake is not a new one. Unbeknownst to a lot of people, it precedes the Kendrick and Drake. It was a tension that was already there for many, many, many years. It just was unspoken. Post this whole thing with Kendrick, I think that it got more heated up, and now it's basically being prepped to be a public thing. What I think about it is I think that it's very immature on certain parts. But then there's another side of me that says it needs to happen because it was always supposed to happen. There was always this thing with Drake trying to push up on that throne. Watch the throne, right? So, it doesn't really have credibility because to me Drake is not a credible opponent anymore. He's been exposed. He doesn't have what it takes to fuck with the energy that somebody of such a caliber will bring to him. You know what I mean? It doesn't even, it wouldn't even look, it would be ugly just based off of how he carried himself in the last situation. It doesn't really look like it's going to but when you talk about street things in terms of with the Toronto gang and all of that, I don't have no insight on that. I don't know what that is. I don't even know what that's about. I don't believe in what they, you know what I mean? I don't have belief in what they are talking about. It doesn't really resonate like that. I don't think on the Jay-Z side, those people are willing to crash out. It's too much money involved.
Yeah, you mind if I clear? I didn't want to cut your wisdom.
Of course, go
I
ahead.
didn't necessarily mean on the street side. I just didn't want to interrupt you out of respect. I
Right.
mean from a corporate standpoint.
Picking sides.
See, I'll give you my, because I wanted to learn. Typically when people want to push their doctrine, but I always come to learn. I'll tell you my observation. From my vantage point, I'm gonna keep it real. The corporate entities that's involved in this, that's pulling things certain ways, that's having dudes send little shots through these damn podcasts, that kind of the behind the scenes thing. I've never seen it this serious. I'm talking about where you can't, like, you literally can't go and tap in with people, or a certain bag might not be in your way or stuff like that. So watching the show for me, I'm 34 years old. I grew up on Jay-Z. Not necessarily how y'all did, because y'all are, a little obviously older, but the Black Album was my first Jay-Z album. I didn't know nothing before that.
Right.
So I'm a late blind. He was on the way out the door, goddamn. But I say that to say this. My read on it though, I'll be real. It seemed like, man, do I gotta bring all these people in to let these crackers know I still got power over the nigga? That was my read. Now I could be wrong. Now, and look, if you got power, flex it. That's what it's about. But it seemed as if, especially night 3, I did not go. I was still in New York City, but I did not go. That it was, with the chaos at the gate. I don't know if y'all touched on that. It just seemed like it's a lot of sabotage and John Wilkes Booth energy with all these niggas right now. And is it the enemy? Is it just can we just knock it down to some tailor-made nigga stuff? Like, that's kind of where I was going with, like, what is the spiritual read on this, I guess?
Well, it's a very politically charged atmosphere, right? And you're looking at a cosmic rivalry that was meant to happen. The other foot has finally dropped. Like Rez said, Drake came for the throne back when Watch the Throne came out. That was the first ripple that could never be ignored. But Jay was waiting for Ye to handle, you know what I'm saying? Again, the nigga he initially co-signed it. I'm sure Jay was telling him, nah, that ain't it. So he's been sitting back and just waiting and watching, and now it's at a fever pitch where they seem to be pitching, but it'll be wrapped in a cosmic generational rivalry where it's going to be pitched as the young versus the old in the industry, ultimately versus independent, because Drake is such a pinnacle piece in what the future of the music industry will look like, whether he chooses to re-sign or go independent. Like, let's say he go independent and his first record is his response or a diss at somebody like Jay, right? And he's showing the youngins now how to do it. You feel me? With this mutual destruction of not just this artist, but also the record industry, because you just did 10 million streams independent. You know what I'm saying? You just did X, Y, and Z. So the game ultimately is definitely gonna devolve into a somewhat of a civil war sort of situation, because once again, people are choosing sides and they're drawing lines. And even though there's not a street element, there's a lot more detrimental fallout from Dre getting washed by Jay, and
Yeah,
doing it the way in which is, if he thought that he was getting 20 V and one before, right?
Man.
Homie is coming and reestablishing, like you said, his value to the marketers that he has to go and get more money from, because he was just going to the UAE to get a bag. He's going to Live Nation to get a bag. So he has to prove his market value. And you said something key, and I want us to make this observation. And it also was observed, I think, by um, I think Tasha K. I heard her speaking about it. The majority of people that were in the building that made those astronomical numbers record breaking were melanated people. He did not necessarily pull a gentrified audience. This
mm,
was the niggers.
it was
Right.
niggas in there. It was a
It was
nigga.
niggas
Great
in there.
point,
This
Blue.
is this is
Straight up.
this is
Great point, Blue.
sitting at the top of the nigga hierarchy.
Great point, Blue.
I mean, Tupac explained it in an interview that never came out, right? And he was speaking about the importance of who sits at the top of the nigga hierarchy, because whoever's the top nigga controls the brainwaves and the moves of niggas' hearts and minds, the warriors, the ones that get shit done, the aspirational ones that have broken the bubble, that are not on substances, that don't have the crutches necessarily, might be different crutches that they have, but they don't got the one where they got a foot in the grave because, you know what I'm saying, they got an addiction necessarily. That's the whole sort of youth. This is dealing with this Neptune and Aries energy of music and spirituality combining with heavy use of drugs. You know what I
So
mean?
hold on, big bro. So you cooking? I gotta ask you this because you just, I didn't want to cut you. You just came with the dagger. So who is the villain and who is the angel in this moment? Because what you just said, I peeped too. It wasn't a lot of others amongst the brothers. It was a lot of the brothers, and they knew it. So
And the
is
sisters
Jay
too.
the last steward of Black Coast? Whether you love him, hate him, is that nigga the last dragon? Like, God damn, because that's what I'm. Is they like, this is our last nigga? Because look, don't get it twisted. Do I believe that Drake could deal with him lyrically? Absolutely not. But the war's not just purely fought on the lyricism. It's so many other ways. So it's like, yo, like, are we being lulled to sleep on some anti-culture shit? And then now this nigga on some antichrist valor. I'm not on the spookism, but I'm saying it's a little
You
weird.
hitting on some you hitting on key points. And again, people in the comments can have their observations. We're having a high level conversation, bar none, because we're speaking about the people who have the sway over the minds of the masses. If that was not the truth, we wouldn't be here after all these conversations about it. We don't got to
Not
prove this to these people. We know what time it is. So yes, this is going to take place on every level because, again, like I said, it's generational. They just symbolize it, but it's a cosmic mythos that the scorpion gets taken out by the Sagittarius, who puts the arrow at the heart of it. So this
So,
is cosmic. It has to take place.
so I want to say this one thing. Now I'm gonna clear it up, because I know people got to come in.
Yeah, we gotta move on, London. We gotta move. One more comment, my
Yeah,
brother.
and I appreciate it. I'm gonna
Yes,
share
yes.
something that a high level executive told me off the record. He said, "You know why they've been shutting all this hip hop shit down with the executives, niggas not getting signed and all that?" He said because this puts so much free disposable money to in the hands of the castaways of the niggas that they don't care about to
right.
go get into other areas of society, whether you want to buy property. Think about how many regular dudes in the 70s, I mean not 70s, the 80s, 90s got them deals. I'm not saying we didn't waste a bunch of it, but was able to move a certain they want to stop that essentially. So what I'm hearing is that from you is, that's why they want all this hip hop madness. a lot of Pooh Shiesty stuff where they like, we can't give them niggas no more money anymore, and they want to close the gates. So I guess the question is Jay-Z a trustworthy general in this endeavor to preserve the culture? That's, I guess, what I'm saying. That's the last question. I appreciate Brother Rich for giving me.
I would say this.
Let me say right before you, because I got
Mm-hmm.
2 words to say, and you can grab it and run with it from there. I think Jay-Z's brand is authenticity, and in this day and age, right, that cannot be Trump.
And I would also add on that the YSL Rico was the beginning of them saying this new money can't be around established money, because it was told to me that it was Young Thug and them niggas getting too close to that old money in Atlanta. They got them that Rico.
Woo!
They was tired of sharing. They was tired of sharing rooms with niggas with red hair, face tats, and they were too uncouth. Because the old money and the money in Atlanta is old money. It's established money. It's like, it's old boule money. And they were tired of sharing stages. They were tired of sharing rooms. And they had to put a stop to because Atlanta at one point was just going too crazy. And the old money got scared.
Can y'all build on that maybe another time?
Of course.
Because that conversation, when he told me that, I was like, wow, that conversation is not happening. That they tired of these niggas moving in these neighborhoods, getting this type of money and causing all that. Now that Young Thug thing is powerful. And I'm just hearing that, man, look, nobody getting deals right now. Like, name me a deal that happened substantially with any of these young dudes in the last year. They drying up the bricks. So now everybody fighting and ain't no new money. Nobody's talking about that. So it's like, it's a weird thing. But man, I appreciate y'all, brothers. I'm gonna tune in.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you for your input, good brother.
Yes,
Thank you for your
appreciate it.
input. Yeah,
Had to get the energy going with that. I told you it's good to talk with the family around the globe. You know what I'm saying? We never know who's listening. So that was a very good conversation.
Quality of membership.
Yeah. One thing that I would say, and I see somebody else in the back. I'm gonna get to that, brother. If you notice, the comment is always about old. They always talking about old. Whether it's academics, NBA young boy, the first diss toward Future, you old ass nigga, you old this, you old that. When the brother that just called and talked about corporate, one of the things that might be dangerous and corporate might be invested in academics in this old head narrative is that the older brothers, and y'all talked about this before, and sisters can help the younger brothers with their contracts and what's going on. Jay helped Lil Wayne. Jay helped Hit Boy get out of his publishing deal. So they has helped people. DMX, he has helped people with deals behind the scenes, like, yo, don't do that, don't sign that, don't do this. So that they never wanted, y'all talked about, they never want the young and the old to collaborate and get together, because that is not good for economically for them at all. They need you young and dumb and full of cum. That's just how like niggas used to talk about girls back in the 90s. I like them young, dumb, and full of. That's how they like their rappers and artists, young, dumb, full of cum, so they could fucking just mind fuck them all they want. So that they always go, old ass nigga, old ass. I'm like, God damn, can you say anything else besides that? He's 60 years old. He's a grandfather. Beyonce's still working. He got Beyonce. I'm like, God damn, they love what they do. It's not work. When you love what you, these are artists. No other culture goes through that. But just wanted to say that. Let me get to the brother Leroy Green in the back, and then we gonna get some more questions. What's good, Leroy? What's happening?
Salute, man. What's good with y'all?
Salute, Leroy. Peace.
What's happening, brother? You got a question or a comment?
Yes, I'm gonna try not to take too much of your time, because I consider you guys to be, master teachers, man. So one thing I want to say is there's a thing called above and beyond the call of duty. These brothers right here, they go above and beyond the call of duty, man. So I appreciate y'all. That's one. I agree with what Magic just said. Because when you see somebody in the industry walking around that's a self-made person that can't be controlled, I don't think people understand how rare that is. That's one. Second, I'm gonna get to my question real quick. I'm gonna try to be fast. Blue, I agree with Blue also that Jay's brand is authenticity. But my question is this, right? I'm from California. I'm from the Bay Area, which some call the Yay area. I'm an
Yes.
80s baby. I came up in the crack era.
Yes.
Yes.
As a gangster, I'm not a gangster, but I'm saying in this area, you feel what I'm saying?
Yes.
When you're branded a G at 20 years old, and then you ask to get out the car when you're 30 years old, they gonna let you out the car, right? Because they respect that you have now grown. Brother, I got kids, I got a wife, I can't do these things I used to do. Can you let me out the car? They gonna respect that because your brand now is authenticity. My
Right.
question is this: at what point do we get past the Jay-Z from 30 years ago, past the drug dealer motif? Or is he always going to be branded as that? And one other point is, and I hate to say this, people look at the hustler as a monster. Not every hustler is a monster because humans are very complicated. Just like not every addict is the disheveled bum. Humans are very very complex. Some
Right.
addicts are functioning
Super
professionals.
functional.
They dress up in suits. They talk very, very properly. They have good careers. So there's levels here. Jay is not the normal hustler, right? So I'm just saying, if he hasn't qualified to have some trust within the community, at what point do we move past his hustler phase? He hasn't been in a trap in probably 30 years. Can he move past that archetype? You know what I'm saying? Come on, man.
Well, the critique that people are throwing upon him is that his hustle has just, he's just evolved the hustle. The NFL deal is somewhat, they're saying that, that is from a hustler's perspective. Even this latest thing with the Target, they're like, look, there goes that hustler shit again. You're hustling
right.
the people. You're not selling crack anymore. You're selling social justice. You know what I'm
You're
saying?
selling influence.
You're selling influence. You know what I mean? You're going into these boardrooms, playing the numbers game, playing the influence game, and you're selling your people out and whatnot. So whereas you might have been on Notion Avenue or you might have been in Marcy and whatnot, selling the $5 rocks, you were selling your people out then. And what people are looking for in terms of, because they're looking for leadership from him. I'm not looking for it, but I'm sure that people are looking for the leadership based off of the heights in which this man has grown and whatnot, right? Based off of the heights that he has reached. They actually depend on him to be a representative for authenticity, to kind of like be in alignment with the vision or the image that they want him to ultimately be.
And lastly, I think we should check that in the community. Not that I don't disagree with you because we're a spiritual people,
Look,
so
yeah.
we can relate to the music on a spiritual level and kind of have some common ground. But at some point, man, when I go out into the real streets, a lot of people out there don't care what Jay-Z is doing. His music has no effect on their life.
Right.
I'm talking about just the people from our era too. They appreciate his music, but they like, bro, I'm not thinking about his album like that. Like,
Right.
if I have it, I appreciate it, I listen to it, but he doesn't dictate my life. And I think that we're getting into a space where we acting like Jay-Z is dictating the lives of masses of people. And I think we need to get out of that. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And to be honest, to add on to what you're saying, that's definitely not the case these days. But I could definitely, without a doubt, tell you, right, from a generation that we were all peers of his, he was dictating, right, the movements, especially of Brooklyn hustlers, Brooklyn go-getters, the ones who went out of town and made this shit crack, the ones who went into Atlanta, they went down south, they went into the West Coast, the people in the West Coast that went and became executives, the ones who went, the ones who became managers and whatnot, they ran up in Hollywood. We all have our every artist has everybody has their inspo, right? He's been the inspo, and that's what you saw this
That's a
weekend when
fact.
people were coming back. I saw every single auntie that moved the pack on the Greyhound at that concert, bro. You feel me?
That's
I
a
saw a
fact.
bunch of black men who look like they've been through shit, but you could tell they're not into that no more, right? Men with their wives looking clean, looking healthy, looking happy and whatnot, looking accomplished. I seen a lot of gray hair, a lot of salt and pepper.
That's a fact.
You feel me? So
Let
it's
me
not
give
necessary.
one last parallel that's positive, if I can,
Oh,
not to cut you though, but
no,
I just
go
don't want
ahead.
to hold you guys for too long. Burner, I don't know if you guys know
I'm familiar with Burner
named
Cookies.
Burner. He from San Francisco. We from the same city, right? When Burner started going out into the streets, he only had a few dollars in his pocket.
Yeah.
Now you see how far that he's come,
Yes.
and he inspired a lot of people from our area that was into cannabis, and now you see the whole country is
Tapped
onto
in.
that. I'm
Right.
not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm not saying, but Burner's authenticity as a person is what some of us could kind of relate to, and I think that's Jay-Z's, calling card, man, and I think that should mean something, man.
And
But
he's
I don't
not
think
the
it's a right or
right.
wrong.
He
Yeah.
You got Nas, who is also in that light. There's a few others that are, even people look at Pharrell and they draw inspiration from him just based off of the fact they look at Ye and they draw inspiration. These artists are growing people up. As they grow, their fan base grows with them. As Jay-Z pops out, I'm a father. I got a wife. I'm literally married with children. So if there's men out there that are like, yo, I don't know about getting married, that's their inspiration in a sense. You know what I mean? Even with people saying Beyonce is leading the women, fam, she's married with children. Rihanna's married with, I don't know if she's married, but they got children. These are parents now, outside of the internet stuff, outside of the conspiracies, outside of that. What you can draw from, if you just look at a person for face value, it's like, yo, these are parents. The child is playing the piano. So his demonstration at those 3 nights is what you were talking about, how you could shake the crack thing and move on. He did that. That's what he's showing you. That's what that 8-part series on HBO is going to be about. This is his hero's journey. This is his redemption. He's literally demonstrating, and like I said, don't judge, people will be mad because I'm pointing out the obvious. This was a rollout. This was a well thought out, oiled out rollout by whatever that machine is that he has behind him. Okay. That's what you saw. Everything, it was a master class in marketing. It was a master class in rollouts. It was a master class in quote unquote new era promotion. Like, what are we talking about?
I agree.
Hey, Leroy, I appreciate the call, my brother.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir, man. Y'all keep cooking, man.
Thank you, my brother.
Appreciate y'all.
I have a minute with Leroy. Can I have 1
Go
minute
ahead,
with
Blue.
Leroy?
Come on.
Blue.
Please do. Thank you, Blue.
Only a customer when you're standing as a hustlers, right? And you happen to be from the place where the road split. So Oakland, like the movie Panther showed you, is where RBG split, right? Revolutionary but gangster. This is where the pimp and the hustler sided with the police to take down the revolutionary so they can become the voice of the street. See, we're not keeping it real. And this is the part that's hurting me, because it's like you said, we're this far in the game. We're parents and grandparents, and we're still living the illusion. The music is going to represent the background frequency, right? We're not in the revolutionary struggle phase no more. Biggie came with $1 billion, a multi-million-dollar push by Clive Davis to now push aspirational rap over the struggle. Tupac embodied and represented the cub of the panther who was innerly conflicted with whether he was going to go whether RBG or Pimp and Hustler, and we've seen him flip-flop between both. Big was the person that was like, nah, I'm just partying bullshit, right? No consciousness, no revolution, no struggle. We're going to use our minds to mentally imagine and aspire our ways out of the struggle. We're not going to blame the white man. We're not going to go to war with him. We're going to take this white boy and this white girl, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to integrate that into our reality. And then that's how we're going to do it. You feel me? And this is cocaine capitalism promoted by Nixon in the 70s when he came with black capitalism, right? That same dollar that he ultimately gave to quote unquote Jeff Ford and them took that money too and went down, right? And that was the end of the merger between consciousness and street movements, right? Where now you just got street movements. So he's a person that was exposed to the level of consciousness, but he figured out how to take what he already knew foundationally, get with the occult aspect of what capitalism really represents, that the Epstein file is showing you, right? On some Moloch shit, right? He already sold the people out when he decided to make the mini contract in the street. I lost 96 bricks and brought them all back. My nigga, he been sold y'all out. You're looking in all of the wrong places, all of the lack of leadership that you don't need at a time when the background frequency has changed. Niggas who grew up in New York in the 90s, who were not conscientious, that did not have the upbringing or training that we had, where we have to have intelligence with our hoodlum. They just like, nah, just give me the hoodlum. What? Super thug. And
that's bad, man.
He became the mindscape, the architect who laid out the blueprint of how to get nickel and dime hustlers off of corners and put them into corporate suites to show them that you take a hustling acumen into whatever you do. LeBron James used it for the fuel to become LeBron James. It's
Super
many things
fact.
that you can use inspiration for, and not just on the block bubbling rocks. But if your ass was outside bubbling rocks, you needed an upgrade because they had stopping freaks, jump out boys.
TNT.
So your game had to elevate. So by the time that white collar came and people now was moving into scamming, right? The other part of the song kicks in. And these people who were accomplished in that level, we're talking about criminal masterminds, y'all. So I'm sorry if this shit don't hit the way that you need it to when it comes to, you know, us representing the conscious community and speaking consciously. We're speaking about you still have to have an aspect of consciousness, even in the street, even in the underworld. It still requires awareness. It still requires you to be very telepathic, reading other people's thoughts, seeing things before they happen. It makes you hyper aware. We're gonna stop this, please. And if we're having an open conversation, it's not fucking glazing. I'm attempting to give you access to both parts of your brain family so you can stop being blind to what's in front of you, because your children need you not to be so square when they're out here moving through the real world.
That's a fact.
Appreciate it. Hey, I appreciate the calling, my brother.
Salute,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all keep cooking, man.
All right, peace, my brother. Shout out to that brother right there. Shout out to both the calls. Great calls. Great calls tonight. Both those brothers added tremendous value to the show. So I definitely appreciate that. One thing when I met up with Red at the studio that night, I told you I was mad. I missed the first hour and a half, and he was like, "Yo," tight. And Red started telling me about Beyonce. I said, he bought out Beyonce. I said, oh shit. Yo, I was so tight that I missed that part. But one thing I want to say, y'all, when I remember like watching movies. I don't watch movies much as much as, you know, when everybody used to go to the movie theater. You go to the movies, somebody said, this is an interesting comment. He called himself God and they put thumbs down. I call myself God. What? Red calls himself God. Blue, we all call ourselves. Are you tuned into the wrong show?
Yeah, Jazzo.
Do you know what channel you watching? Hold up.
I'm saying. He brought Jazzo
out. What channel he watching? Did he think this is this is a metaphysical channel? Do you know what we call ourselves over here? Do you see my hat? What the fuck what you think I'm wearing this hat for? Do you know who I think I know I am? Like, I'm just saying, like, why does Hove get the criticism for that?
That's what I'm saying. And you would have to been in New York to be around the gods. You would have had to grow up around a nation of gods on earth. You would have had to know. You would have had to have an uncle who's God to understand what that means. And he brought Jazzo on the stage, and you got to understand the history. Jazzo is convinced him he was God. Jazzo was the one that told him he was God. Once a man tells you that you God, what you think you're gonna stop saying that? You're gonna invoke that. That's what his generation. He came under Big Daddy Kane. King Asiatic, nobody equal. KRS-One, knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone. We all come from the God body era. We are God, and we stand on that. There's nothing that nobody. Maybe people that's religious, they come from other places. They might think that that's blasphemous, but we talking about the sun, moon, and the stars. Go ahead.
I want to ask y'all this because I was saying, I remember watching movies, and regardless of it was the good guy or the bad guy in a movie back in the day, if there was a love scene or if you seen like a chemistry between the bad guy and his wife or his children, it was touching and it was emotional. You was like, damn, this motherfucker's a bad guy. But love is always beautiful to see, regardless of who it comes from. When you see love, that's the thing that kind of separates everything. And what I noticed about this internet generation is that they are totally unaffected. Anybody who's ever gotten real love in their life, and unfortunately, a lot of people haven't. But anybody who has gotten real love, when they see Beyonce on stage with Jay-Z, Red said it on Friday. It was like, yo, she love that nigga. Red was like, she love that. You see, it's not, you don't, certain things you see in life, certain things you feel in life.
Right.
Whatever invisible radiation that comes off of us, you feel the love that she has for that man. You feel the love between her, him, and Blue Ivy. What I want to ask is that it seems as though the internet's totally unaffected by that. They don't, that wasn't, they're not commenting on that. You don't see that in the comment section. You don't see people making videos. I heard Red mention it. I thought about it immediately. I thought about it every time when I see shit like that. What happened to this generation, whether it's old or young, but this internet algorithm driven generation where love is just totally not on a radar? They will completely miss it. It could be, you could dangle it right in front of them. They'll turn around. Oh, well, look over there. That's happening. They just don't see love at all. What's happening with this algorithm internet generation where they don't see love at all?
Lil Wayne,
they don't appreciate it.
Lil Wayne and Drake. And I don't want to throw them under the bus like that, but they were the leaders of this generation in terms of affairs of the heart, and they failed this generation miserably. Lil Wayne kicked it off with some of the most misogynistic, lyrics that probably covered the airwaves in the later years of his career. Not mixtape Wayne. Wayne, when he started going super duper, he just went very toxic with it. And then you had Drake come along, and Drake is not toxic in a sense, but Drake was more of the hit and run. He's a Scorpio, so his message was about heartbreak. His message was about basically hitting shit and passing it on. And then, of course, you had Future come along, and Future came along, and he was numb to the pain, and he brought the codeine and whatnot. So now when you talk to the average millennial and whatnot, when they talk about the dating scene, what is the first thing that these beautiful goddesses and these sisters say? That the men have zero emotional intelligence. The men are not in touch with their feminine. The men, they go on dates. They just want to skeet to the, you know what I mean? They don't even want to talk. And then some of them are just coming with the credit card in hand and whatnot. They're doing the city girls. The city girls kind of poisoned the water as well. And that whole movement with the city girls and then the sexy reds and everything. So this is hookup culture, Rich. This is now we are in the era of the hookup culture. I'm not on the scene. I'm not outside. I'm not on Tinder and everything. But according to what I'm hearing and whatnot, that love is a weakness. Future told them to numb it out, and they've been going with that algorithm for a minute now. So in Atlanta, where everybody went for love, they got trapped because Atlanta is a no love state. You know what I mean? That's the home of Future and all of these quote unquote players and whatnot with money. You got to remember. So the influence, the attraction is there because you got black men that have money and prestige, but they're not looking for no wives and whatnot. So go all around. When you look at the STD rate, these children are out here. The stories that I'm hearing about these rappers passing on these diseases to each other is crazy. You feel me? So they don't love themselves. You know what I'm saying? And they damn sure don't love the opposite sex. And let's not even talking about the whole DL, the explosion of the DL culture that came out with the younger generations, where they don't look at they don't look at the agenda the same way that we look at they was fighting us when we was calling the agenda out. So you know what time they on, right? And then of course the agenda got in the way, where it's a lot of fake love out here, because you might be kicking it with a shorty, but she's playing both sides, and also the men. So I don't see how you could establish a foundation. You know what I mean? I never really heard about Beyonce with other women, even though so many women want her. I haven't heard too many stories about Beyonce running around. There's not a lot of dirt out there where she's, and I haven't heard, they don't have no articles or no men coming forward saying, yeah, I'm Jay-Z's secret lover. You know what I mean? Like how they doing the Tyler Perry and all of them. So situations like that is kryptonite. They don't want to see that shit. They want to see Beyonce leave that nigga. That's what they're really rooting for. The Beehive want to see Beyonce leave him, and she would get praised more than her being. She's somewhat of a kryptonite, because not a lot can relate to the fact that you have a relationship that's not on the internet. Y'all raising children, y'all having children, and y'all getting a bag, and you talking. You like, yeah, what's better than one billionaire too? So that started this trend of women saying, I'm not settling until I find a Sean Carter. Beyonce got him on that shit. I need a high value man. You looking for Jay-Z. You think you Beyonce. No problem.
So,
but Kevin Samuels was cutting them down show after show. Go ahead.
She is controlling the mental brainwaves of the hive, right? She's the queen bee. We in Cancer season, right? Cancer is where the Beehive cluster M44 is located. So they dictate. You know what I'm saying? She controls their brain waves. She sets the tone and the pace. If they really was, quote unquote, if they really wanted to cook y'all and y'all said that they was who they was, then why they ain't put her with a white man? Because that would have finished like so many conversations. They just needed, her to point them in a direction. But instead, she goes with this melanated man, and she's able to humanize him for the first time. And 444, was his humanizing album. It's when he went from mythos to man. It's when we actually seen that, Superman was Clark Kent and he bleeds. But bleed where? He had a bleeding heart. So he had to give you a 444. 44 is the heart, 44 is blood, 444 is generations. He's showing you his generations. He's showing you what his Masonic ultimate work is these children, right? This legacy that I've built, right? What he said, I ain't pretty, but my baby is, my Mercedes is. And then
Blue, the question was, Blue, the question was,
I heard you.
I really want you to get to is why they can't appreciate it though. Why they don't appreciate love
because
like our generation.
Artificiality. This is the age of artificiality. And somebody that's plastic can't get into their heart chakra. The heart chakra only comes with authenticity. So if you really love these people, you're going to sacrifice and go through hell and high water with them. The younger generation came in by way of being emo, and then they saw the threats to the heart chakra of having it exposed, right? Because again, these young men is getting involved with women who have been, initiated by older men. And then they're feeling less than, they're stamping on their whole masculinity aspect. Now you got incels, right? They can't get into their heart chakra because it's very, for them, they don't see a way to connect. They don't have social skills. They're on the internet. So they took away this whole aspect of knowing how to speak to a woman, let alone getting to know a woman, let alone allowing themselves to open their heart chakra to connect with theirs, right? Everything around them is telling them, don't trust her. You know what I'm saying? Cut her and leave her where she at. Move on to another one. If she got a body count, she's not worthy. They coming up in stripper culture. So things are, like he said, is becoming transactional when now it's tricking culture. You feel me? So in the age of artificiality, right? When people are moving more so towards plastic than being sentient, being in your heart chakra shows that you're sentient. You know what I'm saying? That's not what the music is promoting, and that's not what the background frequency is giving. That's why we don't see it in society. because you got to cultivate love. And a fast moving, fast food, fast transactional generation, saying, when do they have time to cultivate quote unquote love? And everyone is passing, the next person on to the next person, on to the next person. What is there left to love?
It's just interesting, and I love the answers, because in our generation, we had Snoop and Dre. I mean, they were extremely, extremely. It wasn't no love in a lot of music we grew up in, but we still knew how to recognize it. You know what I'm saying? When we seen it in a movie or we seen it with individuals, and we grew up with Snoop and Dre. You know what I'm saying? Did you see their videos? We grew up with Two Live Crew. Did you see Two Live Crew back in the day? It don't get no worse than Uncle Luke.
Too short in them.
It's too short.
The
But
difference
we can
with
clearly
that,
spot
the
love. We
difference,
can clearly appreciate it. You know what I'm saying?
because we've seen it before. But prior to that, that's why. Just like the music holds the memory. So what do we always say? I remember that song. My mama used to play it on Saturdays when she was cleaning up. Oh, I heard that song growing up. So the music encapsulates the memory and is able to transport us to a time and a place where we remember, my parents would start everything and start dancing in the midst of whatever was going on, nigga. When they song came on, come here, girl. And you knew what that was, because you looked, and then they disappeared, and then she came back smiling.
Rich, we had Mariah Carey.
Okay, good. Okay.
We had Mary J singing to us. Okay. We had Whitney, goddamn it. Look, Whitney was with Bobby, and they was going through what they was going through, but they was locked in. So even what people would call dysfunctional love was still celebrated and whatnot. So all I'm saying is, although we had Snoop and all of them, we had a balance, because we could fall back and listen to what's the 411. You know what I'm saying? We could listen to Whitney's first album. We could listen to some of the things Keisha Cole started coming up and everything. So there was still that balance. Love was in the air. Women still loved men. Men still loved women. There was aspirations to always get together and to make the best out of that and everything. And yeah, that has somewhat been upended by what I would say is an agenda. Because once that agenda started turning up a lot, people started feeling like they had options and whatnot. There was a divestment movement that took place under our watch, and there was no real pushback against that. People was just like, whatever, let it happen and everything. But we had some of the most endearing music, because remember, they were remixing our parents' soul music. So if you were 70s babies or 80s baby, you was programmed through your DNA already to be in love, because all you was hearing was serenading. You was being serenaded by Curtis Mayfield, Stevie Wonder. I mean, the goddamn the Isley brothers, the Isley and the magical pen of Mr. Robert Kelly. Feel me? And then we had Aaliyah, and then we had Timbaland. We had a lot of people that was seeding us with the aspirations to want to be loved, even though our ego, and we have music for our ego. And what was the music for our ego? Big Pimpin'. We don't love these hoes. Let your nuts drag. And then Nas gave us Black Girl Lost, right? So it was like there was a lot of stuff going on that had us like really.
I ain't hear that song in a while. Damn.
I listened to it today because I'm on my 90s. I'm on my 96 Apple Music tour right now. So it was written, which also is 30 years old, deserves a MetLife. What's that? A Citi Field Stadium show. He should not cheat himself. If he saw the reaction that he got at that Jay-Z show, we need It Was Written concert.
And let's say that, y'all, like as fans of the genre, like let's just put the capstone on it, y'all. We grew up on hip hop, not just hip hop, but New York City hip hop, and that does not make us better than anybody, but we're selective fans because of the variety of hip hop that we is exposed to. So for 30 years later, to finally see Nas get his bop on stage, the right bop, the right way,
and the way he wasn't a performer like that.
They were remixing one another's songs with them beats. let's speak about. You said the first day you saw Jay with some rust, right?
Yeah,
But once he
yeah.
knocked that rust off,
Yeah, yeah,
the level of confidence.
yeah.
And Jay's not always been a performer either, but he looked like he practiced for this. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on.
And
Go ahead. Nah, go ahead.
go ahead, bro.
I gotta talk to the rust.
Okay, talk to the
He stumbled in that freestyle a little bit the first night. He stumbled a little bit. I
A
remember.
little, yeah, he did. He had to get himself back because he know he shouldn't have said that dumb shit. But when he first came out, because he knew Beyonce was coming and he knew not, the nigga bop was incredible. I'm talking about his shit was on 10. His first song, Can't Knock the Hustle, the way he was moving, I didn't see no rust. And then when Nas came out after that, he was in his Baggington. When you came in later on, probably he was a little, he kind of got a little rusty and whatnot.
Right. So this is, you're taking it again from someone who done seen this man perform since 96 all the way up, right? I ain't never seen him in his bag like that. So for a 56-year-old, again, what they saying,
Summer Jam, Blue, you bugging.
Right.
I was there too. I was at Summer Jam. You was there?
Right.
He was in his bag.
I've
when you put out
never
Michael,
missed the Summer Jam.
And the Michael, but also the Hard Knock Life tour with DMX on his tail.
His performances, I didn't see him on Hard Knock Life tour getting smoked by DMX. His stage without Dame, his stage show, he never held the stage down. He did not move around. He did not have synchronization, and he never played with his lyrical dexterity. He was very uniform in how he performed, and it was boring. And definitely Nas. I seen him free for the first time as an artist in his artiste bag, and it was so liberating. Again, for other people who are thinking about still putting out, Rakim got an album coming out, Big Daddy Kane got an album coming out, right? And for the youngins who don't have the vocal dexterity to hold down a 2-hour show or to move around the stage like they own it, there's a lot to learn here. There's a lot in master craftsmanship. There's a lot in reaching one's pinnacle. There's a lot in having a 30-year career. And again, in whatever you do, there's a lot to take a lesson from in terms of mastery, right? And being so persistent with your catalog or your grind or whatever thing, like me and Red, we're creating a catalog. At some point, we have to celebrate the KTL catalog, like put the work in and then celebrate the milestones. I saw a masterful execution of, something that the genre really needed, again, for hip hop to have its appreciation. The hip hop music is opening in the Bronx. He started that concert series 1 month to the day of the birthday of hip hop in the BX. The Bronx needed that resurgence. New York needed it. Hip hop needed it. You know what I'm saying? And the uncles, the people who were there, that need to be reactivated and reminded that the job is not over for a lot of people. They dusting their shoulders off and they getting back to work. They like, right. If he can do it, the father of 4 children, you feel me, with multiple X, Y's, and Z's, and is back against the wall. Yeah, he came out busting his gasket, and you should too.
Right. It's an OG summer.
This is 26. Do your big one like Money Mitch. Where you at? Let's get it.
Indeed. Y'all had to hear when I think the most like emotional vibe I got the whole night from the concert was when Can I Live came on and that beat drop.
The original Can I Live though, because there's 2 of them.
I'm not sure if it was the original. I would just say the one that he put out on radio. The one that was out on radio. But the beat, the speakers, when it was blasting, that alone was worth the price of it. I wish, see, a lot of people never experience a concert. And if we're talking about energy and we're talking about feeling alive and we're talking about getting high and all of that, like if you go to, there's a reason why concerts are so successful. When you're at a concert, the feeling you get is undescribable, family. So I don't know how many of y'all are. I've been going to concerts my whole life. I always say my favorite one was Kanye, Made in America in Philly. The nigga, it wasn't even like a human was on stage. He was like a beam of light. Hands down, my favorite concert of all time. But when Can I Live came on Friday, bro, the Sonics took you out. We was out. Me and Cam was looking around. The Sonics took you out of there, bro.
I was gonna ask you about the live band too, Rich.
It was beautiful.
I was gonna ask you about that.
The
I was gonna
live band
ask you about
was
the because you a producer, you a Sonics man.
Listen, man.
Guru was there. Guru was on the 1 and 2s. And for the family, if y'all don't know, Guru is a student of Dr. Valentine. He is a student of the community and whatnot. But I want to know sonically, Rich, how did the instrumentation, how did that live band mixing in with the beats, how did that sound? I'm gonna
tell you, this is why people have been saying for the past since AI came around and Suno, live musicianship is going to be the biggest shit on earth real soon.
Yes.
There's nothing AI can do to replicate, duplicate, compete with that. To have a live musician there, because he's giving off, he or she's giving off energy as they playing, and just to see them play that instrument, AI has nuts. So AI is actually gonna create the rise of live musicianship, but it made me appreciate it even more than I did 10 years ago. So shout out to all the live musician. Anybody who's a live musician, pick your gear back up. Listen, it's gonna be popping for the live musicians in the next decade, 2 or 3 or 4, as long as AI's around fucking everything up. Live musicians is gonna be popping.
And that's what I was telling y'all as artists on all of our last meetups in the studio, that if we master the actual performance, if you put all of your energy into stock to just creating an experience for the audience, you know what I'm saying? It's something that they'll always walk with. Like, even with that, this is a last stand for humanity. People are showing what's the use case. Like, nah, you can't replicate or duplicate this. You know what I'm saying? Like this, like he has certain mixes during that show, like Renegade over Takeover. It's a new way to hear the music. Like New York State of Mind over the Marcy Where I'm From. You know what I mean? Like, he's giving new life to the catalog and showing the improvisation that brother that was on the guitar, the energy that band was given. You know what I'm saying? It really, once again, I want to celebrate the fact that it just reminded me of the strength and the power of music, and for all of the conscious artists, for all of the new upcoming artists, for everyone that wants to make an impact and shift the paradigm. Yo, you have a blueprint. You can, eat the meat and spit the bones out. Like, you don't have to like the man. You don't have to like the content. Take the template, master your performance, engage live instrumentation, and get out there and connect with the people in their heart chakra. Create effervescence in your concert experiences so the people can be transported somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And they can sing praise to your name. But until then, and it's not an until then. Create that space in your imagination. But yeah, I ain't finna be hating on greatness.
Shout out to Al Kibalon 44 in the building. You was going, I watched
you seen the show last week. Y'all seen the show?
Killed that shit.
Dude went insane. Shout out to Al Kibalon. What's I gonna say something about the concert? Blue, check. I was telling Red. This is what I was telling Red. I was like, if Hove wanted to stop the world after the weekend, this is what I would have did if I was Hove, Blue. Ether and Takeover is 20, 30 years behind us. We both became extremely successful. Nas in his investments at Coinbase, Hove with what he's doing. I would have let Nas come up, Blueprint Night. I would have performed Takeover. Then after that, I would have stepped back and let him perform Ether.
Listen,
give the fans that. Yo, that would have listen. It would have gave us something that nobody ever seen coming in the mid. That would have Because I was thinking about how is he going to top Kanye? Him letting Nas perform Ether. Where's the ego? There's no more ego. We're both
Rich.
successful. I got Beyonce and children. My daughter's playing the piano. Perform Ether, my brother. Get it over with.
Residence Rich.
You know what I'm saying? Get it
As I was on this old school journey on Apple Music, I played Ether. Played it. Go listen to that shit when you get up. No, not with Blue Ivy in the building. No, that song, even to this fam, I listened to Ether because you remember we was kind of, I was agreeing, we was in the studio like, yeah, he should have, bro, and then I listened to it. No way. That's the reason why they did that little mashup and pounded each other. That is the reason why he called it Ether. It still hit like it's
still hit.
It's bro.
It hit his soul. It hit his soul.
That shit still hits your soul to this day. It is a dangerous song. Do not let it out the jar.
Oh shit! You can't let it out the jar, Red. You gotta
get nah. They need to just do. They need to do. They need to be like AB and Dean and get on Kick together and start streaming together and be buddies and whatnot, or have a boxing match. But don't play that song, bro. Don't play that song. That song is still getting
I thought that y'all was saying that they needed to announce an album together. I thought that would have been, epic. That we get a cross collaboration at this point. The album that we really need, that can bridge culture and take the conversation. Like if the youth is not leading the genre, if the youth is not showing direction to the where the future of the people can potentially be, in terms of mental preparation. Because let's not forget, like Jay-Z has exerted political influence and he is responsible for getting a whole president in there. So these people are very vital when it comes to presidential politics. That's another reason that Jay-Z gets demonized on the internet, because he gets caught up in the whole dim wave, that has the internet that's kind of either churn MAGA or they just against Dems altogether. So he gets thrown in a lot of those brackets. You know what I'm saying? People have found a lot of reasons why. And I think that, once again, like I said, we've been pointing out his obvious occult affiliation since 2009. And I think they're a lot more obvious now. So when people convert into information, they always have to demonize somebody. There's always got to be that person that represents the thing that you just discovered. And he has to win that. But yeah, ether is still ether. And it still burns. You feel me? Because it's his omission, even with all of this celebration, even with all of these accolades, that is still over his head. You know what I mean? And that is that's the thing he can't shake. So the fact that I didn't get him to take over, I'm just like, is it a real tribute if you don't go over and give us the hits? You know what I mean?
Hey,
Good, Blue. Now he tripped him up. You know what I'm saying?
It's good to see both of them. Well, it's good to see Hov recover from that. It's good to see Nas doing good. It's good to see our legends doing good, thriving. And like I said, I don't agree. Like I said, I think Jay said some bullshit too during the weekend with the boycott thing, and him saying, well, y'all still on Instagram, but you can't deny greatness, and I'm never going to hate on greatness. Just like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is sometimes, we could say he's cooning or shucking and jiving, but you can't take away that he's one of the greatest basketball players of all time. So, I show respect where respect is due, and I'm not this internet culture. I don't really fit in with the comment section. That's not my spirit, and the comment section don't go together. And saying that to say, how much do y'all think the comment section and social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X, YouTube, how much do you think that has affected the direction of culture in the last 10 to 15 years? Just the comment section, people reading comments knowing they're going to be talked about. How much has that shaped the direction of culture the last 10 to 15 years?
Immensely. You know, bots from Botswana, the fact that the dead internet theory reveals that the majority of the comment section happens to be bots and whatnot. So you're not dealing with authenticity. You're not dealing with the quote. Yeah, shout out to the chat. The chat runs the chat is running the youth culture. You know, chat niggas and yo chat, yo W's in the chat. You know, the whole streamer culture is built off of the chat, right? But these bots, right? These bots, bot farming, the bot farms, this whole bot culture and whatnot, where Facebook and Cambridge Analytica and Meta and everything, they showed that you could utilize bots to sway elections and shit like that. You could utilize bots to sway, you know, they did it in Nigeria with Cambridge Analytica. They did it with the first term of Trump in 2016 and whatnot. You know, bots are very, 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 they're the most important thing. Comments in that nature is the most important component of the internet, because what it creates is this group mentality of, it's basically groupthink, and whatnot. So you can manipulate groupthink. You can manipulate groupthink through the comments. You can manipulate groupthink through bot farms and whatnot. And then the algorithm that Meta and YouTube have now incorporated, everybody's inside of an echo chamber. So like with case in point on IG, I clicked on one Jay-Z video from the concert. And then after that, my whole entire feed was Jay-Z concert. And I didn't really even ask for it, because they gave me everything Jay-Z for the rest of the night. That's how the algorithm is right now. We're now in an interest-based economy, right? It's no longer the intention economy, it's the interest economy. So the algorithm is going to give you anything that you're interested in. So if you show interest in the hate train, then they're gonna put your ass on that train. And that's that. You're not going to hear the opposing viewpoints and whatnot. You won't be able to debate it out, because they're just going to feed you everything inside of this echo chamber to feed what? Your dopamine.
Yeah. Remember when I used to tell you I don't read comments, right? Because at some point in time, yes, comments can sway the opinion that somebody has about something that they even said or they stand on, because the comment section represents, like he said, the groupthink or the hive mind, and that hive can turn into swarms and killer bees. A beehive. I've seen comment sections pack people up where they have to fold and on the sword, you know what I'm saying? Eat their own tongue, pause, and deactivate, and all types, run for the hills. I've seen it have physical effect on people's bodies as well. Like you was getting hit by mad mini drones. You know what I'm saying? The conscious section is real because it represents a conscientiousness, and a conscientiousness represents a plasmic field, right? And that plasmic field is almost like an egregor. So it's almost like the mob that comes to your door with the tiki torches, wiling you up. You know what I mean? You gotta get out the back, away from the angry mob. Like, I've seen comment sections go down like that. I remember when I had put a post up earlier this year and it was not being felt. Right? The comment section went crazy. You dig what I'm saying? And I held the line as long as I could. Retreat. Nah, it's real like that if you want to be for real. You feel me?
Right.
My phone was going off like, and then I started getting real accounts. So comments is like short form, where you get an idea of what is going on, and then I got the phone calls that was long form, right? And I got a better understanding of why that comment section looked like a swarm of hornets, because something was said that triggered people emotionally, and the comment became the forum for their outpouring. And it's almost like they were on the pitch throwing rocks or throwing fastballs, as opposed to you might be on the field and you used to people throwing you lobs and you hitting home runs all day. Everybody's agreeing, right? Until they
Right.
don't agree, and then they get crazy. So yeah, the comment section is a moving entity, um, and it can make or break some people if they are really contingent on you know affirmation and appreciation from their audience. You know what I
Right.
mean? Seen it.
Acceptance.
I was listening acceptance. I was listening to Jabari and Sinetta, or no, Jabari and Brother Reggie. They were trying to figure out who won the debate that they just had this past strong in. And again, these things come down to bodies of people who you don't see their face. You don't know if this is about farm, right? But their wager ends up being so important to your reality. It's the wildest thing ever.
And keep in
Interesting.
mind, going viral and virus is one and the same.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference between going viral, viruses die down, virility doesn't. Feel me? So meme warfare is real. Meme
Mm.
magic is real. You know what I mean? And people
Facts.
go to war with memes, and they go to war with the meme warfare. They go to war in the comment section. So like they said in the Matrix, if you die in the Matrix, you die in the real world. And I seen dudes get folded up in the Matrix, and then we went on 125th Street like, yo, that don't even look like sun no more.
Yeah,
Facts.
no, yeah.
Mnemonic.
A couple of brothers recently that I seen them, and I was like, damn, they don't look the same, and I could see their aura kind of diminish. Like powerful speakers we know right now in this conscious move, their aura's diminished because of online attacks, and I'm like, damn, man, I hope that brother's able to recover or to get back to that level where he was at. So yeah, that's a real thing.
You
That's a
die
real
in the Matrix, then it will affect you in the real world. So you gotta protect your avatar, ladies and gentlemen, and move through this thing accordingly. You know what I mean? Because you could get cooked.
Mm. Great response as usual. Listen, you know what's funny? Before we close it out, I want to get to I gotta close it out, family. But it's funny that Hove is the one that came up with the famous line, "Men lie, women lie, numbers don't." In that era we was in, but in this era, numbers are doing all the lying.
Right,
Streaming numbers, views,
right.
album sales, all these numbers is all lies right now. So it's just funny that he came up with that, and now we see none but lies when it comes to numbers, man.
Because that applied to a different world. We're in a new world now.
Yeah.
He even had to adjust to this new world. He's not he that's what I'm saying. This new world is occupied by different kings, and what he's not a king in this new world. He was a king in the 2D world, and their physical copies and CDs and all of that. That was his realm, right? The digital realm, Drake and them is king in that realm and whatnot. They became kings in the digital world. So he's still rusty in the digital realm. Beyonce, she mastered the digital realm with the Beehive, with her online movement and things of that nature. And she don't even be on the internet like that. She lets her bees take care of business for her, and she's always ready. So whenever she gets the call, she's B is always ready for whatever. They say you gotta stay ready so you don't gotta get ready. Rihanna wasn't ready. You understand? And Beyonce was. You saw that on that stage and whatnot. That was the biggest demonstration. She's always ready. But yeah, he's not the master inside of the digital realm and whatnot. He's making his way into that realm. That's why the topic of this is the real world versus the algorithm. He's a boss in the real world. And a lot of these new artists, like these SoundCloud rappers and these Rolling Loud dudes who can't rhyme, without the backtrack and what they can't put on shows like that.
You seen them at Rolling Loud?
The Rolling Loud crowd, right?
Horrible. They were
But
horrible.
I must say that I saw the Sunrise performance in Romania in front of 100,000 with Playboy Cardi. That shit looked like a movie. Crazy, right? But those Rolling Loud art, he's like the king of that era, right? Those Rolling Loud artists and stuff like that, they don't, their numbers are, some of them are puffed up. They come from that era where men lie, women lie, numbers do. So when they come into the real world, that shit don't hit the same. You be like, damn, why only 3 people showed up? Or why nobody know their lyrics? Or why nobody is really hyped like that? Versus somebody who like a Nas, the old school, what they would call the old heads, and the old heads mastered the real world. DMX at that Woodstock show with in front of all of them people, he mastered the real world. He wasn't internet. He was, or like they say, internet. He wasn't of internet fame. He's lit on the internet, but he mastered 2D, the second dimension. The internet is the third dimension. And there are artists who run wild on the third dimension, but it's not a lot of the OGs. That's why the OGs became podcasters, by the way. That's why Fab and them is lit right now. Mano and all of them is lit because they had to go into, that's why Fat Joe is doing his comeback tour. He's trying to step on the niggas that tried to step on him, by the way. That's what he's out here doing. He got Jadakiss as his shooter and whatnot. You know what I mean? But he gonna mention, he's gonna take direct shots. I could already see it. You know what I'm talking about? You know, y'all poked the bear and y'all didn't kill him. So he's gonna talk his shit like all Germans do, right? But yeah, that's a perfect example of that. That's why the podcast thing blew up, because they stepped into a new era, a new world, a new realm, the digital world, where they're not kings and whatnot, but they took receipts from academics and all of them, and they ran with that blueprint.
Yeah, and they're attempting to package authenticity on the internet, and they have yet to realize that the internet is about imitation. It's about the fluffing of numbers. It's about, you know, it's the digital divide. And but I mean, but the flip side of it is the digital divide, but also it could become centralized and become hyper tallied all the way down to the very last. They could put it on blockchain and you can't flub the numbers. So the solution still exists. And also, you know, Jay-Z's 30-year return as a cocaine capitalist and the person in the game who has been the most conscientious about financial literacy, right? And I'm not saying that he got, I'm not, you know, even on 444, where he's teaching credit and he's speaking about these things, I'm saying that through his 30-year career, he pretty much has instructed people, you know, how to get money, move money, save money, flip money, invest money, X, Y, and Z, or how to grow, you know what I'm saying? A couple 100,000 to $1 billion, right? That's something that he's physically done in his lifetime. And I think that his reintroduction into the conversation in the minds of the masses about who he is and what he represents, it also comes on the cusp of them changing over the money system into a digital one. So that's coming in the midst of all of this as well. You feel me? When every asset will be tokenized, and we'll be dealing with the stable coin and the digital dollar. And again, all of that is finna kick in any minute now. But also need to speak that there were a lot of things as well happening in the background. New York City in particular, there was something tragic that happened Friday night in Harlem with a street legend, a Brooklyn baller, who got clipped at Kingdom.
That's my old projects, by the way.
Okay, that's a Martin Luther King.
Yeah. Forster, right there.
Right, right, Forster. So we know that's sacred ground, and something like that never happens. And this young man was a triplet. He wasn't just he was a triplet. He was born on October 26th. He was a Scorpio as well. and I believe that's the same born day as Jalen Brown, right? Who we spoke about the other day, and this whole JB energy of Jay and Beyonce, the twin pillars. I'm not gonna go there. I'm just saying that there were some very interesting things, energy wise, that were taking place simultaneously in the city. And only somebody that was there on Sunday can explain the chaos that ensued, or what a lot of people were speaking about was like an energetic egregor. You know what I'm saying? And Akibalan put the article out about them getting people into that late night aspect to where you want theta brainwave. Like there was a harvesting that took place. Let's just be clear about that. And there was a energetic level harvesting that took place that was unprecedented. And these artists, these stars, these luminaries, yes, they are able to bring people into effervescence, into an encapsulation where all of that plasmic energy, all of that effervescence gets made available. But I'd be damned if you ain't get the best show ever in return for it. And sometimes that's just the trade-off. Sometimes it's just as simple as that. You know what I'm saying? That people are, and many and plenty of things that they're doing, they're volunteering to be extras in somebody else's concert of life. And it just so happens that the high wizard and the high wizardress, you know, put their concerted collective efforts together, and they gave you the best ritual.
So, right, and I want to add this too. If this whole thing was like a corporate play to bring more money in from the people, the higher ups, right? The Sunday fiasco, if he was able to ask for 10 million from the Saturday, he's now able to ask for 100. Why? Because he showed the world that was a masterclass in the power of his brand. It was the power of his brand that did not start a riot outside. I was out there. I got the footage and everything. I was out there, but I had my daughter with me, so I was like, "Yeah, we up out of here." You know what I mean? I'm not gonna have because it was the energy was real thick, right? A masterclass in his brand. His brand survived a 4-hour controversy, right? The fact that people were trusting of him, right? Albeit what the internet says. So everything is good when everything is good. But when shit goes bad, that's when you're able to test your brand. That's when you're able to see the power of your brand. That's when you're able to see if the people are really with you when shit does not go their way. And it was not going people's way for about 4 hours. And then what happened? He put on that show. He cleared everything up. In hindsight, when all of the analysis look at it, they say that he made the right move. The insurance companies, big money like NFL and them, they're going to reward him for the third, even though he turned a negative into a positive, he will be rewarded for that. He will be rewarded for that. Now, if a riot happened and they started shooting up Yankee Stadium and everything and somebody got clapped, yeah, then it'll be a whole different conversation. But the fact that they were able to carry out, this was unprecedented. The Yankees never went through that. In the Knicks with the championship, they didn't go through something like that. They didn't get a security breach and the game had to be stopped for hours until they figured things out. And no, this was only at that show. And they persevered and they put on undoubtedly what people were saying the best night out of all three.
Oh, it hands down looked like it. It was, yeah.
That
I think
shit was crazy.
Bro,
night 3 was the best.
Yeah,
Night 2 was the second best. Night 1 was the third best. From what I've seen.
Oh no.
That's how I would rank it.
I would say 3-1-2.
3-1-2. Yeah, I say 3-2-1. I would say 3-2.
No doubt.
But
But yeah, he was able to
Beyonce
transmission
out
at 2:30.
They smoking. They smoke. He was smoking.
She didn't just come out with. She came out with the dances and everything. With the.
Yeah, it was crazy, right?
Laps in the wave, bro. She had the Norwegian. They was, bro.
You seen it?
We'll do another episode on the ceremony rituals, but
right? Because I had my Chicago people was in town, and my Baltimore people was in town, hitting me up, sending me pictures from outside. I said, yeah, my nigga, tuck your chain and you be all right, man. Just keep it, you know what I mean? Keep it low. You know what I'm saying? You gonna get in there. Then he sent me the visual. He was in there. And then my people from Chicago, they sent me the video. They was in the building and they was like, yo, this was almost like a rites of passage on some New York shit. But we made it through and we feel like we a part of, you know, they felt even more connected now.
No, definitely.
Yeah, so yeah.
It was a great conversation, gentlemen. Last thing I would say, with all the controversy surrounding Hove and what he represented, what he does, I've never seen. What I would say is I've never seen you know, they say the musicians are the musicians. They go hand in hand. In ancient time, most of the magicians was musicians, and
Yes,
so on. So you know,
magicians are the magicians.
It's connected. Yeah. I've never seen a hip hop artist able to pull off what he was able to pull off in his 30-year career in terms of magic. And what I mean by that is call yourself God, have everybody call you God, and do a hand mudra at the same time. Have them do the hand mudra while they're chanting Hova, while projecting their energy on you. Imagine if I'm in front, I'm like, and I got everybody calling me God. I think it's underrated in the magician field that he was able to pull that off successfully, authentically, and that people like, you know, we like, you know what I'm saying? Hold with the God.
Bro, like
That's some shit
fight
right
in
there.
the comic section. Let them fight amongst Drake. They don't get it, my nigga. The owl as an occult esoteric motif is cute. But when you got the whole stadium calling you Hova and throwing the diamond up, my genius, you understand? It's a Reynolds. Like he came and got whatever he was coming for, and he left the people with something extraordinary. I hope that the majority of us are able to use it inspirationally for whatever we so choose. But I would definitely recommend against you looking for fault in a master class and a masterpiece of a demonstration, just like today's episode. It was amazing. Good brothers, thank you so much. Thank you to the audience for providing that heart chakra and that soul. And this is what we promise as, you know, curators of this conscious information, that we have our heart in this. And regardless if we speak about light or darkness, we always balance it out. You know what I'm saying? Our heart is light as a feather because this really is a labor of love. We love you as much as we love this experience, the highs and the lows, the valleys and the peaks. We will always end up on a high note in the high end of things. You know what I'm saying? And again, that's by having an open heart with open eyes and being able to receive. We just wanted to have a conversation with y'all, and it don't have to be rooted in hate for us to understand what the love of culture, music, and ultimately, like we said, performance art looks like, because he pulled it off. Salute to them.
Indeed.
As a fan of the culture and a connoisseur of the culture and somebody that appreciates the craft, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a student of the craft,
Mm-hmm.
right? I have to say that this whole entire experience in New York City, because I'm in New York, I'm on the ground, I feel the energy. There's people saying that this is the best summer that New York has ever had. For those that are out there, I will not let this go away. I will bottle this up and I will do my part as an artist, as a painter, as an artiste. I will create the best art that I can create as a result of being immersed in the energy. It's not Jay-Z, it's the New York energy right now. It has nothing, because remember, June was epic by itself with the Knicks and the FIFA and all type of stuff. This is just literally a continuation of the most epic, quote unquote, energy on the planet right now, located right here in the Empire State. And I'm soaking all of it up. You understand? So I live off of experience. You dig what I'm saying? And once again, my experience is attached to these catalogs. My experience is attached to these artists. Albeit the personal shit, I'm talking about the art.
Right? Albeit, bro. You
Albeit, all night. I'm tapping into the art. I'm tapping into the culture wait, paradigm. Yo, we shifting paradigms. You know what I'm talking about? Orbit.
I wanted to put this on
Fire
record
horse,
before we leave. One of my favorite moments this entire 3-week epic is when he performed the Dynasty intro to open up day 3.
Yeah.
When you know that everything was gonna be all right, and he came out and he did the Dynasty intro. I mean, again, to me, Can I Live, Dynasty intro, and it's about in the lore. These are examples that, again, as the conscious community, I'm still.
What about the evils?
All of the curators. Because he took them to the underworld and on day 1 when he did that set. I'll leave it there. I'll get back to that. But these are his lyrical demonstrations that, again, family, this is somebody that comes from the community. This is somebody that comes from consciousness. This is someone who figured out how to weave higher thought into, what people might consider under the belt activity, lower world activity, or underworld activity. As is being explained with this overlapping conversation around Carisha and her anthem for Spin, that, when certain things in society have not worked for people, rather than people laying down and giving up, they have reached for alternative means. They have found the ways, you know what I'm saying? And the thing about new culture is that regardless of what way you choose or whatever it is that you show up to do, you're going to do it masterfully, you know what I'm saying? And you're going to pop your collar if you're getting it off, especially if you're overcoming whatever the system is throwing your way. Again, we're not condoning underworld activity, and we're not saying that it doesn't have its repercussions. What we're also saying is that Jay-Z is the living proof that crime still pays. Say hello to the bad guy.
I want to thank y'all once again, man. Absolutely incredible show tonight. And what this person put up here, people used to ask me back in the day, yo, why you like Hove? Listen, was born to dictate, never follow orders, dig face, get your shit straight, fucker. This is Big J. And you gotta hear it, like, I will not lose.
Ever.
Yo,
those mantras.
That's my
means so much to the mental development of people who are up against the system, because he still represents someone who beat the system, regardless of how he went about doing it. He might have made choices that you wouldn't, but so be it. You feel me? The physical realization that the crystallization and the manifestation of his imagination is what a lot of people are utilizing as the backdrop of their reality to succeed. Not to fail and not to cheat, but to put in work, right? Is, again, I wish that the younger generation had more examples, absent of what he represents, just more examples that are unique to their experience, right? Because different generations have different unique experiences. So this internet generation, they do deserve authenticity. And I hope that they are able to find that in their artistry. But I also hope that they are able to untether themselves from looking at artists as leaders and finding leaderships in their own homes amongst their own role models. All right. I love y'all all. Peace, love, and light. This was an honor as always. Thank you for an amazing experience.
Thank you, brothers. Appreciate it.
You already. Hey.
Shout out to the red and the blue for doing their thing as usual, family. This brother Rich. Yeah, I haven't been on here in a couple of days. Like I said, I went to New York. My flights coming in going, but my flights was delayed both ways, so I had a hell of a time at the airport this weekend. But like I said, it was dope to be in a concert. I wish I would have seen the whole thing. I missed the first hour or so, and I didn't. That's why my views on the first night is a little off, because I'm like, I didn't see the first. I didn't see Beyonce. I didn't see the first hour. But I'm thankful for what I did, was able to see. Shout out to Cambada. I was with Cambada at Yankee Stadium. But like I said, family, if y'all would have just been outside, I've never seen nothing like that in the Bronx. Outside at 1 a.m. And you know, there's events like, you know, when we have events and the police presence will be there, and you know the police presence it is because they act like a Gestapo. They act like goddamn, like they give them like they can't wait to arrest somebody. That happens a lot with black events. The police can't wait to the second it ends. This has happened a lot. If it's supposed to end at 1:30, 1:31, they locking niggas up. If you still around, you like when we like, yo, it just ended. It was not like that this weekend with the police. And I have many critiques of NYPD. I grew up in New York. Many critiques, but that weekend, the police was not like that. It was a lot of amazing, good vibes, energy on the streets of New York. And maybe, you know, Blue talked about the Knicks. Maybe the Knicks added to that, but the vibes, Friday night when I went, the streets I felt like I could have walked down the block. I could have been in New York with a watch, a bracelet, 10 gold chains, and I could have just walked down any block. You know what I'm saying? It felt safe and it felt like a lot of love in the streets. So yeah, well, let me see what y'all talking about in the chat real quick before I get out of here. Yeah, I want to do a show tomorrow. I want to what's going on with this stomach virus that's going around. We need to talk about food and moving forward. Yeah, I should have asked Blue because Blue on his farm and shit, but what the hell is going on? They saying the produce got some shit on and you get this stomach bug and you throwing up and you got diarrhea. Man, what is going on? Because I know people personally that is being affected by it. I don't know what it's called. Somebody said the Nolo virus. I don't know what it's called. I just know that they've been talking about some stomach bug that is going around. And they've been talking about it for a couple of weeks now, I think. For probably about 3 weeks now. They've been talking about it. So just be aware of what you out there eating, family. And I shouldn't say that. I was in the airport, man. I was stuck in the airport all day, man. I started eating bullshit in the airport, so I can't. I'm actually on a fast now. This is my second day because I'm at the airport eating bullshit that I shouldn't be eating, that I don't care to discuss now. But I'm like, I'm gonna get home. I gotta, I'm gonna do a little fast. So I'm on my second day. I got one more day. And yeah, I'm gonna have me a little tea. I got Mr. G's honey. I'm gonna have some of that honey, some ginger, and some lemon when I end this show. That right there, that's one of my favorite teas. Only with Mr. G and KT's honey. It gotta be that honey. It gotta be that. But yeah, shout out to G. G just had his son, so make sure y'all give G a shout out when y'all see him. He's a new dad. He just had a son. Make sure y'all get that Geefy tea, as well as the honey. Yeah, I keep hearing about this, the great separation. There's something on YouTube. I keep hearing about it, about the there's an AI movie that somebody put out that's on YouTube. I'm gonna check it out. People don't email me, text me. A couple of people don't tell me about it, so I'm gonna check it out. But yeah, I need to have a conversation with the family about it tomorrow with somebody, and that's why I'm glad I'm able to. We got people in the community that provide alternatives. Actually, Dr. B just texted me yesterday. I should get Doc, because Dr. B literally just texted me yesterday. He texted me something about nicotine and COVID. Yeah, he sent me some information about nicotine and COVID. I'm gonna ask him what's the deal with that. See what he yeah, I need to hit up KT too. KT, Dr. B, those two brothers right there. Definitely. Man, yeah. But like I said, is there anything else I want to run by y'all? Yeah, I think that's it. And yeah, so I'm gonna be back tomorrow. I do want to talk about that. Yeah, but it did remind me this weekend also that I definitely can't wait to the next time we all gather and link up. Um, you know, I think that it remind me of how phony the internet is and the algorithm and how we need to link up more and come together more and vibe with each other and get. There's nothing like in-person energy, y'all. There's nothing like that. Like the energy. Like I heard Blue was talking about the energy harvesting, and a lot of the people online, spiritual people will talk about that now. What's not talked about, this is what's not talked about, because that's a popular topic, loose and all of that. What's not talked about is the energy you get from going to that concert could last a month, 2 months. So it's like if you're going there with good intentions and you genuinely love the music, it's like going to a lecture. The energy you get from a lecture, you're gonna take that with you and it's gonna last for a while. It's gonna last for a while. These things are investments. A concert is an energetic investment. It's not just having fun for one night. That is an energetic investment that's gonna last in your spiritual bank account for a while, just like going to a lecture. So when we link up, family, from now on, we have to have, it has to be an energetic investment. When you come to a Brother Rich event, that memory, that feeling, that vibe, you carry that with you the next year. The people who came to Stone Mountain could still tap into that energetic bank account from Stone Mountain and use it when it's available. They may be down a certain day. They may be feeling a certain way. Then they be like, damn, remember when we was at Stone Mountain? It's a beautiful thing about it. So this is why people travel, because they talk about the memories that you collect during traveling that you could utilize during certain points in your life when you're feeling a little low vibrational. So these things linking up is energetic investments into our spiritual bank account. So this is why you don't get that online. You don't get that online. You just don't. You just don't. So yeah, it definitely has taught me that, yeah, we definitely got to link up more. It just got to be right. It got to be the right circumstance. But I definitely look forward to, kicking it with y'all again. Last time I seen y'all was Stone Mountain, and definitely got to figure something out so we could, link up. You know what I'm saying? Definitely got to figure something. And people have been doing stuff. I know King Simon got something with B-Dell in September. People doing stuff constantly. But I'm just saying I haven't done that personally with this channel, but people are doing stuff all the time. So shout out to everybody who is putting together events all over the country, whether it's in New York, Florida, Miami, LA, Atlanta, wherever you are putting together an event. I just look forward to putting together an event and with like minds, you know what I'm saying? But let me see what else y'all talking about in the chat. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a parasite. That's what's going on. So it's a parasite called cyclosporisis. Well, I don't know how to pronounce, but okay. So that's what's going on. It's a stomach bug. It's a stomach bug. Yeah. Kingdom, yeah, said that's what I travel. Yeah, that energetic investment with traveling is definitely, if you go there with good intentions and you go there because your heart led you there, it's going to be an energetic investment. You'll get your money multiplied times 100. Times 100. It's not just that day. You could tap into that and spend it at different times in your life. So yeah. Diamond said, I'm still high from Stone Mountain. Yeah, no, facts. Yeah, no, somebody said, yeah, that's why you pray over your food. Yeah, that's something. Yeah, that's important. That is important. We definitely got to keep that. We definitely got to keep that in mind. Parasites are involved. Yeah, that's why I mentioned Dr. B, because Dr. B always talks about the parasites. So if it's a stomach bug going on, I want to ask Dr. B, like, is this some new parasite? Is this what's going? Is this a spiritual? Like, what's going on, Dr. B? My stomach was a little twisted. This is like a month ago. I had diarrhea for like 3 days and shit. I don't know. Is that same shit going on now? I don't know. But yeah, my stomach was a little. Or maybe I just ate something. I think that's when I ate some ground beef that day or something. Yeah, and I thought, yeah, I think it was that day. I think I had it in there. So I don't know. But yeah, we gotta figure this thing out when it comes to food. We gotta figure this thing out. Because man, they are attacking our food supply. Somebody said I'm on heavy wormwood now. Okay. Got Red Pills info. Shout out to King Simon. Like I said, King Simon is doing something with B-Dell in September. I'll probably have B-Dell on in August to talk about that. But they got an event coming up in NYC. Oh, you remember? Yeah, somebody, yeah. Kingdom said, I remember you was talking about that. Yeah. I haven't ate it since then. But yeah, I got it from Whole Food. You know how you get shit from Whole Food, you figure you good. And I don't know. It just after I ate that, my stomach was like rumbling for days. So, but now they saying it's the produce. So you can't just get at the meat eaters. Now it's even if you eat salads all day, they saying it's the produce. So it's like, what the hell we supposed to do out here with this food supply? You know? Yeah, they're going after the veggies now. Yeah. So it's like somebody say you still eating ground beef? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm not a vegan. No, I'm not a vegan. I don't eat it all the time, but yes, I do eat ground beef. Yes, hands down. Yes. I tell people that all the time. I don't ever want anybody to mistake me for a vegan. I'm not a vegan. Far from it. Eat fish. I eat chicken sometime. Ground beef, I eat that the least amount. But yes, I do. Yes, I'm far from a vegan. Not a vegan over here. Love some fish. I'll be telling you all about the 10 fish. I'll be 10 fish up having crackers and sardines and shit like that. And so yeah, I eat a lot of fish, you know. Yeah. I'm far from a vegan. No, brother Rich is not a vegan. No. You know, no. But oh man. Somebody said ground turkey good. I mean, you can't trust anything now. You know, you can't yeah, can't trust anything now. Can't trust anything now. But let me get out of here, family. Let me share the I'm gonna somebody because I had the light. I got the small cigars. I lit one earlier. Let me share the link for anybody who's still here who wants. And I just sent out big package say new diamonds. I did see you ordered. Yours went out today. So people who ordered in the beginning of July, like July 2nd, July 1st, that batch went out in June. The June early July batch just went out because I did see new diamonds order. I think you ordered July 2nd. I did see it. So that's how I'm able to know what batch just went out this morning. But that batch, that July 2nd June batch went out this morning. So just to let y'all give y'all update. Hey, how you get the small cigar? I'm sharing the link with you. I'm sharing the link. I'm sharing the link. That's the link right there. That's the link right there for the I just shared the link for the small cigar. I see why Rod Hayes like him though. I can't front. I see why Rod Hayes from. It's I can see why. Thermal never received your thermal. You have to contact Mr. G. I don't. The Geefy TT. I'm actually going to be talking about that tomorrow because that will definitely help with the stomach thing that's going around. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be talking to y'all about that tomorrow too. I won't call Mr. G and talk to him about that tonight too. Probably early tomorrow. Rich, can we is the chain God? I don't understand. I don't understand what you asking. I don't understand what you asking. I don't understand that question. I don't understand the question. What time is this? 11:30. Yeah, I did, bro. He never got back on Gmail. All right, yeah, I'll let G know. I'm gonna probably call him in the morning. So I'll let G know. I'll let him know. Somebody say I got a small garden. The Mexicans got the chickens running around. Might be good. Yeah, man. If you're gonna eat meat, shit, man. Try not to them supermarkets. I mean, when we used to eat meat before, remember way, I don't know if y'all, I was born in the 80s, and I remember my family going to the butcher to get their meat before the supermarket. When the supermarkets popped up and became popular, everything changed. Once the supermarkets popped up and became popular, everything changed. But I'm old enough to remember it's 89, 88. The year's probably like 1989 or 88. And my family going to get their meat from a butcher. I remember that. So, I mean, yeah, that supermarket meat, man, they put so much stuff on it to preserve it and to make it look good when it's not. To make it look red and all these chemicals that they put on it. The meat we're eating is not the meat that our grandmothers ate. It is not the meat that so definitely be. That's why I try. If I do eat, I'll go to Whole Foods, but you can't even trust that. Or I'll go to get grass fed, but even that sometimes is a con game or a scam. So, but it is what it is. Yeah, meat and eggs. Yeah, meat and eggs. Yep, from the butcher. Yeah, meat and eggs. Yeah, meat and eggs. Yeah. Eggs used to taste way different back in the day than what they taste now. Way different. Does anybody eat quail eggs? Anybody here eat quail eggs? Quail, them little tiny, it's like little tiny eggs. Anybody eat quail eggs? Yeah. What's the nutritional? Because I hear people, what's the nutritional value? Yeah, I know the soil. Yeah, the soil definitely ain't the same. Yeah, that's the biggest. That's the biggest problem. Is the soil? That's the biggest problem. Biggest problem. Yep. Anybody here eat quail eggs? What's the? I be hearing about what's the nutritional value? What's going on with quail eggs? I had them before. I eat them sometime, but I'm like, what's the deal with it? It is time, wine and where love. Okay, so you eat the quail eggs? Okay, I want to know what's the deal with that? Is that the same as regular eggs, or is that another, same shit? You eat duck eggs? Okay, yeah, I think. Yeah, everything is tampered. Yep. All right, let me get out of here, family. Yeah, I definitely want to have a conversation about this stomach bug, if that's what it is, or a parasite or whatever, and just possible solutions for the family. But shout out to everybody for the show tonight. Shout out to the brothers that called in on the show tonight. Appreciate it. But like I said, I'm on my second day of fast, so I'm gonna go have me some tea. I'm gonna go have me some tea, and then I'm gonna head to bed after that. I think I'm gonna call Dr. B right now, though. Because I really want to know if he heard it, because he's like, he talks about parasites every damn show. So I want to ask Dr. B if he knows about this this parasite. Okay, quail is a natural animal, unlike chicken. Okay. All right. Protein, less fat, I believe. I get fresh farm eggs straight out the farm. Okay. Quail is the original chicken, they say, for the Hebrew. Okay. Yeah, I'm learning. I'm learning. All right, family. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. Right, everybody have a good night. Enjoy yourselves. God bless you. Thanks for tuning in, family. Peace and blessings. All right, peace.
Before there were cigarettes, before there were brands, there was the leaf. Tobacco is one of the oldest forms of spirit communication known to humanity. Long before modern times, it was understood as a living messenger, a way for human intention to travel beyond the visible world and return with meaning. In the oldest traditions, tobacco was never a habit. It was a bridge, not something used to escape life, but something used to speak with it. Our ancestors knew breath as spirit itself, and smoke was breath given form. When the leaf touched fire, it awakened. When guided by breath, it carried thought into the unseen. In that moment, intention became vapor, and prayer learned how to rise. It was never about getting high. It was about clarity, connection, making the invisible visible. That's the memory the leaf still carries. Radio Cigars.
Radio cigar. Radio cigar. Radio cigar.